Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chicago Reacts. My name is Kelsey. I am an actor and voice actor living in Chicago. And today I will be reacting to Project Wingman review, Nuclear Planes, Defeat the Antichrist by Max0r. That's an escalation in that title there. We've got what it's about. We've got nuclear planes. I mean, that's an escalation. And a Defeat the Antichrist. Quite the escalation. I'm going to find out what it's all about. If you aren't already subscribed to our channel, be sure to do so. And, if you please, we have a bunch of our other channels that are in the description below. We also have Chicago Reacts Movies and TV, which is, as you might guess, movies and TV. It's this, but movies and TV. Cool, right? The videos on that channel are abbreviated. It's kind of like the highlight reel of those reactions, but if you want full reactions, the full Mystery Science Theater experience, that's going to be on our Patreon. Link is also in the description for that. And we also have merch, link in the description for that, and we have a Twitch channel, Chicago Plays on Twitch. The link to that is in the description. It's most of the reactors playing stuff, doing stuff. We've got workout stuff, we've got games, we've got shenanigans on there. People stream, usually every day there's someone streaming on there. I'm usually there Tuesdays from 12 to 3-ish, 12-ish to 3-ish, it depends. So come join me, come join us. Alright, let's see what Project Wingman is about.
Project Wingman is a game which encapsulates and defines the term
Yoda in the first 5 seconds.
In a world where Yellowstone National Park has had enough, humanity is plunged into a post-apocalypse where the laws of war are null and void. We play as a mute, possibly autistic psychopath hell-bent on his mission to fight the Australian Illuminati, featuring such notable species as the land battleship, the battleship, and the battle bus, across a multitude of varied and interesting locations like the apocalyptic wasteland that is Los Angeles. Caught in the middle of a conflict between the Pacific Federation and Cascadia, our protagonist is forced to put aside this fight with Jack Sparrow in Louisiana to conduct a second American Revolution and facilitate tax evasion. As a member of the Sicario mercenary group, you're given the tools of destruction you need to fight off the Antichrist. Because in this universe, the UN does not solve conflict, it starts it and then escalates it. So like most problems in the world, we resort instead to base violence as a means of international dispute. Bring your jets, your guns, your bombs, and your napalms, because we're going absolute Barbarossa. Confused? Good. We live in a society where this is canonically as expensive as Mercedes and holds 182 missiles. So if you want to see a parade...
Upset that there wasn't footage of Doug Walker as Melvin, brother of the Joker, doing this right after the Joker clapping. Upset.
Of destruction, melodrama, questionable engineering choices, and King Crimson, then let me be your guide into the wonderful world of Project Wingman, humanity's first jet-centric game where California finally explodes.
Finally. Look at all of that flying. That's a lot of flying.
I know what you're thinking. A jet game, Max? You've gone insane. Jet games are played by dads that have 12 keyboards and people with actual money. And while it may appear to you that I have money, it's only because I spend it very responsibly. You will be happy to know that Project Wingman is neither a simulation nor has it dug into my extensive budget. I would describe the game as more about piloting a slow Gundam than the actual intricacies of real air combat. Only in Project Wingman can you do the boss fight against the guy with 12 railguns and his force fields. And yes, the force fields do turn into railguns, just like real life. Most people
just
about circling, and that's a thing. But the difference is in how it's contextualized and iterated on, which is by insane people. One mission you might be firefighting, and the next thing you know, Crimson 1 appears for the 6th time near the active volcano. How many flight games do you know include lava damage? And do you want to know the best part?
Factor in, engineer in the lava damage.
Please don't use a keyboard, which allows you to do some goofy shit, like physically exiting your cockpit in the middle of a battle. Okay, it's a little windy, but I'm ready. Does anyone else feel
I do that.
I will say though that in order to get the real VR experience, you'll have to repeatedly rotate your head with the light brick strapped to it. I lasted 4 missions on average before the recoiling permanently morphed my spine. You use the radar in your plane by physically looking down, not that you'll be able to by the end. Reviewing the footage, I noticed that there were moments in the game where I just died. That's not me taking off the headset, I just gave up on life. No game will ever make you feel this old, and nothing increases the immersion more than specifically choosing planes with as little visibility as possible.
Yeah, that one, that sucks.
Challenge. I beat the entire game in 2 painful sessions, but I had never experienced anything like this ever since my house nearly burned down while playing VTOL VR.
Oh no.
So in terms of VR, it's a must-have, because only in VR can we express the true, paralyzing fear of driving. So how do we fly our death machine?
I'd do that too if Sheldon appeared in my car instead of
Mr.
Zynga.
Smart guy over here thinks he knows how hands work. First of all, you'll need to get inside your real Project Wingman trademark plane. Turn on the main battery, whatever this is. Turn on the engines, but not too fast. Close your canopy. Clasp the shitting grip. Display. I don't know what this does. Boot Windows. Microsoft Pinball. Smash that radar button. Hit subscribe. Turn off the brakes. Make sure you give the joystick a good jiggle. Now we're not going to
that's just to make sure it works. You're required to do that.
Unfold the wings, which are now detached from the plane. Wings
cool.
speed landing gear. You'll notice controlling an aircraft without wings is hard. That's all right. The guys on that destroyer don't have family. Now that we're in the air and in the correct game, what am I supposed to do? The answer is remarkably simple. Missiles. There's a reason you can carry several hundred of them. Missiles are fucking everything. Every specialized weapon for all your terrestrial needs are various permutations of a missile. It's actually a problem because, I mean, I guess you could use unguided bombs if you want to miss. Ace Combat at least had the gall to let me use an unguided laser, but I don't know, what else can you put on a jet? A fucking dolphin? I don't want to emulate the Wii. You also have the option of a gun, which might as well be a laser, and is the most reliable way to kill anything, including entire battleships. What is in the fucking ammo? If normal bullets were like this, Chicago would be a nuclear wasteland by tomorrow, as opposed to the current wasteland that it is now. Besides that, the controls are exactly what I want out of a jet game, and I don't think they can be improved. What truly
I want that
makes
out of a jet game
in the game isn't the simple controls, it's how they're multiplied by the 6 pursuing aircraft. Unlike Ace Combat 7, your allies have the ability to minorly inconvenience each other. They will do, per mission, at least $3 of damage. So the balance between you annihilating everything and there being an actual battle is pretty good, although majorly stacked. Your success is uniquely predicated on the fact that you play as the world's first bloodless human who experiences literally no side effects from the Jupiter strength G-forces that he regularly conducts.
Okay, so we've got protagonist syndrome for sure.
21 engagements. That's a lot of potential war crime trials, which is why we have to win. That being said, anything that we do pales in comparison to the good accomplished by nuking America. We're gonna have to play catch up. Our liberation will take us all across the video game against all manner of foes, including the planes, the big planes, armies of helpless soldiers with families and dogs, and the Federation fleet. Wait, who is that on my screen?
What?
Oh, me, matey. It's me. Oh, fuck. But what really stands out are the boss fights. Yes, the plane game with boss fights. Shinji, get in the plane. We have to fight the angels or some shit. As for their weaponry, well, it's not physically possible.
Get in the plane.
Order, you fight Crimson Squadron, French woman, and
French woman.
Babe, it's 4 p.m. Time to get in the plane. Crimson Squadron and
time to fight French woman.
Angry nuclear enthusiast. More about him later. He's a guy. You can probably tell that's
he's in there.
The dialogue that keeps the game alive. Project Wingman would be an entirely different game if you weren't constantly hearing more complaining than a fucking call center. Silence is so rare that when your ally flips his shit and demands people stop fucking talking, everyone is surprised. So just by playing the game, you get a lot of lore. So I think it's a good time to talk about that. Our story begins
what's the lore?
In Wyoming, where Yellowstone National Park does a little trolling, causing the tectonic plates to fucking rupture. In an instant, the entire
the caldera
in particular is ended. This, however, created a mysterious, volatile material called cordium, which effectively gave everyone free geothermal energy. And also bombs. What emerged hundreds of years later are the countries of the Pacific: Neo-Mongolia, Large Hawaii, Oceania, Cascadia. Oceania in particular was once invaded by a cabal of mercenaries attempting to establish diamond dogs or some shit. Thank God that we had Skullface there to help us out. In fact, nearly every military engagement since then has been swayed exclusively by methed up mercenaries. To prevent further challenges to their rule, the Federation tightened its power to include all of the death squads, but primarily Cascadia was just mad that other people were allowed to use the limitless supply of energy that they had and wanted to sell it to everyone else at a ridiculous markup. This sets the scene for a war of independence which you are caught in the middle of, or rather, insert yourself into for money. Now the thing is, Cascadia is a real nation that exists in the imagination of insufferable people, so I can attest that the geography of where I live is well suited to guerrilla warfare. The entire Cascadian fleet, for instance, is one stolen ship called the Eminent Domain. The Federation, though, is not without a contingency contingency plan. All across their empire, the Federation establishes peacekeepers. That's the real name. Elite fighter squadrons of questionable sanity and engagement timing. The peacekeepers are so confident that they arrive late to every single battle that they're in. This directly causes their failure 90% of the time, by the way. The peacekeepers we encounter are the Crimson Squadron. One such group of elite so dedicated that they risked losing their entire air force, went to a volcanic suicide mission, and nuked millions of people because you owned them. Their squadron is led by the infamous and powerful Crimson One, who was elected the whitest among all Oregonians. Unfortunately, he's quite dedicated. Crimson One's idea of protecting his homeland under the banner of the Federation involves nuking it. Twice. It's like he's trying to make anime. He's saving his people. He's
trying to make anime.
What barbarism will people slip into if we don't have the common travel passes? He's a blast to fight, unlike his friends. I wouldn't consider fighting his squadron to be the peak of gameplay. The game's bosses can be divided into two categories. Bosses that have railguns and
French Crimson and tank too big.
Squadron's missiles by rapidly turning as they approach. But Crimson Squadron themselves are always rapidly turning, sometimes at a 90-degree angle, meaning there is no nuance. While pursuing them, you are invincible. Here's how you fight Crimson Squadron. Turn towards them. Fire a missile. Miss. Fire a missile. Repeat like 10 times until and you gotta do this like 8 different times for each individual plane. I am progressively losing my mind. My name is Cleveland Brown. And all dogfights and lore, you know, that's pretty
sounds
cool,
a little tedious.
Project Wingman is the manic pixie dream girl of vehicle combat. Most battles feature building-sized sky ships. That was an entire boss in Ace Combat 7, and the game's just like, well, have 2 of them fight.
There you go.
The lasers. Everything you do has a specific melodramatic reason as part of the wider narrative, and just watching that unfold and how it affects gameplay is the real draw. I see no other way of highlighting how this works than to show you, because Project Wingman is a game that you really need to see to believe.
A lot going on.
Side note, the pacing of this game's missions are amazing. I liked it so much that I made a graph out of it, printed out the graph, and showed it to my neighbors.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Can you look at my graph?
Our first act begins with an insertion into Cascadia. There's money to be made, people to kill, and most mercenaries are still mad about the Australian incident. But it's obvious that relying on a single mute man is bad. So you're forced to watch as Los Angeles is bombed. Oh no, the horror. It's time to revise our strategy, rethink our options, bomb our own energy sources. This way, no one will get them, except Crimson One, who sees you doing this and gets mad. This will be a theme. Now it's time to steal a boat. We really need that boat.
The rain on the windows looks cool.
By the way, while defending said boat, we make the discovery that cruise
I hope
missiles
it's
in
just
this universe
a canoe.
are pigeon-guided and exhibit traits of self-preservation. Now the war is really going on, like really going on. It's time to target a civilian airport because it will help the war. We're denying them potential recruits. They don't even know that they're being bombed because the Federation has been able to keep the war a secret for the past few weeks. This is due to the Great Firewall, which patriotically jams all the Wi-Fi across the entire country. There is only one course of action for me when denied of my YouTube. Violence. A lot of violence. Meanwhile, off the coast of fucking Alaska, the Federation is sending transport aircraft to help in the war effort. These aircraft were intercepted, and then the interception was intercepted, progressing for 9 hours until the entire air force of the two nations are fighting in the same place. Every aircraft. And, wow, it's time to talk about that.
Has a lot of things in the sky.
Mission 11 is Project Wingman. The planes, the trails, the visual design, every character screaming into my ears at the same time.
Everyone.
It is beyond perfect. An epic battle between 2 titans swayed only by a single mute psychopath. And that music. This track got me pregnant. I think this is a great time to talk about it because the music always fits. Whether it's low tones for sneaky insertion or a beautiful symphony rising as you descend into battle. I played this mission without the soundtrack, you know, just to torture myself. And it's literally required. This game wouldn't be good without it, and that's a serious testament to the great work that's being done. Also, Crimson One is here, late as usual, and you just beat his ass. Kept in a top-secret facility somewhere on the American continent, there is a woman. You have to track them down. It's for the war effort.
One woman.
You raid the woman containment facility off the coast of Yellowstone, and she boards her fucking super aircraft with railguns and the turn radius of a nickel. Woman eliminated. Now, let's go down the list. Attack Hawaii for no reason. That's on the list. Attack people in a forest fire. That is definitely on the list. Save civilian lives.
Strange.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not on the list. It's time to retake Seattle with the Federation.
Doesn't seem like it.
The war nearly won. With the Air Force in disarray, we're just one step away from... If you're surprised by this, you weren't really watching the video. Do you remember how I said that the Federation basically nukes all of Cascadia? That isn't actually true. It's worse. The Federation didn't just want to nuke us to win the war. They activated all of the cordium deposits in the ground. And do you remember when I said those were used for bombs? That's right. These fuckers just started a second apocalypse. In other video games, war is hell. But in Project Wingman, war is fucking orange. On our way back, we're assaulted again by the same woman. But at this point, I don't care. My retinas are damaged. The Fallout New Vegas part of the game has begun, and we're being sent to seize all of the bottle caps that we can hold. Thank you, Joshua Graham. You may notice the game is now very, very orange. That's what the entire rest of the game looks like.
Very
and, yeah,
orange.
It hurts. Almost immediately, we're sent back to Seattle to dab on the hordes of homeless people. This is when Crimson One returns, and this time he's very mad. He nuked his house to kill you, and that didn't even work. This leads to a dogfight.
Hate to see it. He only has his plane now.
Mental illness. It's clear from the dialogue that Crimson One is not used to losing. Let's help him learn. It's fucking creepy, dude. Jesus. Have a fucking Snickers. With that detour out of the way, it turns out that nukes didn't really help the Federation win. It just made a bunch of guys dress up like the fucking Romans. And with the UN on its last legs, there is one final stronghold for us to bomb. Los Angeles. Fucking finally.
There it is, Los
Angeles. Take the city, fighting foes in the air, on the seas, and attempting to flee my bullets. But after a long and arduous fight, we stand victorious over the city as the music begins to pick up in the back. God fucking damn it. He just does it again. Project Wingman's story is not a Homeric epic. It's not very realistic, nor is it reasonable on any level. But standing over the ruins of everyone that I hate, the sun D flashing before my eyes, I come to the realization. Above all, Project Wingman is fun. None of the disparate parts of this schizophrenic game work by themselves. The combat is not Devil May Cry. The lore is not Tolkien. And we are not going to overcome our pride and prejudice. When you make a list, the game doesn't really seem that impressive. But like a chef, if we mix our ingredients well, cook at thermonuclear temperature, and add enough rat poison, we will create a spicy blend that's so out of this world, so balls to the wall, that it makes everything taste perfect. The motivation of our final boss makes no fucking sense. His arc is
yeah, what is his situation?
His obsession with you is fucking funny. I've never seen someone write a character based exclusively off of projection, but standing where I am now, there's no one I'd rather fight. He's the perfectly goofy antagonist for a game mostly comprised of clown behavior. The music, the drama, the retinal damage. This fight is as ridiculous as the rest of the game, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
It's time. It is a lot of orange. It's cool looking.
I would like to thank my benevolent weapons manufacturers and defense contractors for funding this channel and
Interesting. Great video. I don't think I would be interested in that game. I like games with good stories, and I like games where it's a balance between like story and exploration and combat, and that just seems like a lot of combat and like a story that doesn't really make a ton of sense. Oh, it's fine. I wouldn't want to play it, but it was a very fun video. And now I know I don't want to play it. But hey, that's just a game theory. My game theory. Thank you all for joining me. If you liked this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to our channel for more content. I'll see you next time.